Hi, welcome back. If you've ever wondered how on earth to get your children to stop fighting, you're in the right place. I'm Deanna, the developer of IQ EQ Education, and I am so excited to share with you the power of Family Night. Having Family Night is one of the best things I've ever done in my home. In this video, I'll share with you what they are, why they work, and how they help peer pressure proof your children. If you haven't watched the other two videos yet, you'll want to go back and view them first. All of this information builds on each other, so go check them out, then come back to this one and we'll get you rolling on this third lesson. If you're all caught up, then let's get started with a brief overview of the second video, how to motivate your children and have them think it's their idea. If you recall from our last lesson, in order to help protect our children from peer pressure, we need to alter their self-talk. But before we can alter their self-talk, we have to change the way they process information. To do this, we use a secret formula that connects a child's IQ to their EQ through experiences that are rewarded. This changes the way information is processed in a child's brain, equipping and motivating them to make better choices. The more information that connects within a child's brain, the greater understanding he gains of both logical truth and emotional interpretation of it. As this increases, children can learn to bridle their emotions and craft their self-talk into powerful I am statements instead of harmful self-fulfilling prophecies. At this point, it might be helpful to know a little bit more about me and why I do what I do. Many years ago, I, along with my classmates, experienced the devastation of a suicide epidemic that swept through our high school. One by one, we watched our friends end their lives. As a result, I'm driven to help others realize and reach their greatest potential. Peer pressure and associated youth issues are highly complicated and have had no real solutions. Education alone hasn't been able to stop the rising tide, and character programs hardly scratch the surface as the problem continues to escalate. My background in music, education, business, and psychology has provided unique insights from each of these arenas to pull back the curtains and see the problem through a synthesized, multidisciplinary lens. I've worked with kids for decades, and I've witnessed firsthand the effects of our programs, but I could never figure out why they were working. Until one day I realized that I had fused important pieces from all of these diverse occupations together to create a magic secret sauce that worked. The trick was in their fusion to create a new discipline I call IQ EQ education. With just a few tweaks of how information is presented, we can transform an entire school campus by flipping peer pressure into peer power. My greatest credential, however, is that I'm a mom just like you. I have 4 children of my own, a wonderful son-in-law, and my first grandbaby on the way. At any given point in time, we also have a dozen or so adopted interns that I love as much as my own children. I've spent the last 30 years in research and development to create the IQ EQ education system, working with tens of thousands of students. For all that this journey has presented, nothing's been more impactful than raising my own children and learning to fight like only a mom will fight for their destiny. I can't speak for anyone else, but nothing prepared me to be a mom. No one could have explained to me the absolute joy that that new little baby would bring, or the complete exhaustion I'd face as a new mother. No one could have put into words how much I'd worry over them, or the sheer panic that kept me awake at night until my last teenager was safely home. And absolutely nothing prepared me to watch helplessly as my children were slammed with the brutalities of peer pressure. And the worst part was I could do little to protect them from it. But all that's changed. I was relentless in my pursuit to tackle this issue and find solutions where there were none. I wish I would have had these tools from the time my children were young. But the important thing is that we have them now. In the previous 2 videos, I explained to you the 7 essentials of peer empowerment and the IQ EQ formula. In this video, I'll give you the most impactful way I know of how to implement these tools. It's called Family Night. Family Night is a date night that you get to plan with your entire family. It can be a stay-at-home movie night or a game night, riding bikes, going to the park, putting up the Christmas tree, going out for pizza, or anything else your heart desires, as long as it's an adventure that you do together. I used to make themed adventures. For example, my husband's a hunter. So one family night, I put all the kids in our best makeshift camo, painted our faces, and ambushed Dad as he walked through the door. This inspired an all-out chase throughout the house with Dad as the targeted prize. We celebrated our capture with hunter stew, which the kids helped me make earlier, and completed the night with a cozy campfire, the fireplace, and hunting stories, with a lesson, of course, told by the kids' favorite storyteller, Dad. We'd throw in a related song and an action activity to cement the lesson, and our IQ-EQ formula was complete. This really took little effort, but it did take some thought. Based on our last 2 lessons of IQ-EQ connections and the motivation of games, you can see how we set up the atmosphere for our children to learn. We gave them information through the lesson and connected it to their emotions through music, stories, and activities. We gave our children leadership responsibilities by helping make our special hunting stew. And then we gave them personal ownership by allowing them to express themselves through their own unique hunting costumes. Some of our adventures were as simple as a movie night, but I'd still make a huge deal out of it. Take the 15 extra minutes to turn the mundane into the spectacular. Draw or print a simple movie poster that announces Family Night Movie, featuring popcorn and ice cream, using pictures, of course. Kids need pictures. Tape the announcement on their bathroom mirror or on the back of the front door, on the refrigerator. If you make it special, it'll be special to them. Change up movie night by making it themed. For example, make a pirate poster with a decree from Jack Sparrow. Arrgh, calling all you land-loving scallywags to a movie night featuring me, the greatest captain of all time. Come in your pirate attire. How fun is that? Now, if you really want your children to go ballistic, dress up like the pirates and make a pirate flag on a piece of paper. Keep it simple but fun. Turn hot dogs into a ship by adding a straw with a piece of paper poked through it to form a sail. Voila, a pirate party. And the only real effort is turning on the TV. We didn't realize it at the time, but we were knitting the relationships and forging the communication tools that we needed to get us through some pretty tumultuous storms that were ahead for our family. Family night helped give my husband a way to just enjoy his children at the end of a long day instead of being the disciplinarian. It created playtime with Dad and Mom that otherwise just never got carved out during the week. It provided a natural venue to share our family values and belief systems, and it helped to equip our children with object lessons that they could relate to. Through the years, my husband and I have certainly not done all the right things or said all the right words. We've lost our temper, we've reacted to situations, and sometimes we've just messed up. But we've always done this one thing right. We've created a safe atmosphere within our home where memories have been made, lessons learned, and relationships strengthened. There are a lot of things we'll forget through the years, but we'll remember the night we made forts all over the entire front room. We'll remember playing hide and seek inside with flashlights. We'll remember roasting marshmallows in the fireplace and making s'mores for our inside-out campout, complete with the tent set up in the front room. And we'll remember the impromptu pajama parties with wall-to-wall sleeping bags in Mom and Dad's bedroom. We didn't do family night because we were super parents. Quite the contrary. My children were out of control. As long as they had breath, they fought each other, ran through the house, or got into mischief. Well, maybe not every moment, but as a busy mom, trying to work in a home office, raise a family, and get everything done on my to-do list, I needed productive ways to funnel their energy and maintain as much peace in my home as possible. At that time, I never heard of family night, so we were just winging it based off the camps I used to do with my music students. I figured if I could wrangle in 150 kids at one time in an arts camp, it was worth a try with my own children. Before I glamorize this too much, let me assure you that before we had success, we made every mistake in the book. Our children loved the adventure of family night, but they didn't want to share, take turns, talk nice, or be courteous, and Lord help us if anybody accidentally touched someone else. It was so bad that when it was time for us to replace our furniture, we bought one love seat and 2 oversized chairs for 6 people. If anyone wanted to sit on furniture, they had to sit with someone. Nicely. If they complained or wouldn't share, that child lost chair privileges and sat on the floor. It didn't take long before it worked. To this day, I can walk into our family room and see all 4 of my adult children sitting next to each other and on each other on the love seat, and no one on the empty furniture surrounding them. They are all quite affectionate with very small space bubbles due to the chair experiment. The worst was the anticipated nightly meltdowns. My highly competitive children always ended up in a major uproar over someone not playing the game right. They were either being the worst taunting winners or the biggest crybaby losers. Always something was not fair. In the beginning, family night ended more often than not with tears and discipline, while our children figured out there was a new sheriff in town, Sheriff Dad and Chief Deputy Mom, who were going to take our roles seriously and enforce respectful family rules. There were times that my husband and I retreated to our room for just a few minutes before starting family night. We'd take a deep breath, tie our Ninja Warrior headbands on, and nod in encouragement that we could do this before stepping through the door into the war zone. Our children were not bad at all. They were wonderful, and they were quite normal. But we were backpedaling to create a family culture after our children had already made up their own. Had we understood the power of family night sooner, our children would have been born into the culture my husband and I would have already established. Instead, we had to re-establish a culture of honor to replace a culture of anarchy where our children tried to call the shots. We had to teach manners, sportsmanship, kindness, sharing, teamwork, and respect. Prior to this, we told our children what to do, but we had not properly instructed them on how to do it. We expected a certain behavior and didn't understand why our children were not following the rules. I was using all the right tools in our home, but it just wasn't working because I wasn't applying them through the IQ-EQ magic formula. Have you ever thought about what it really takes to not only raise our children, but also train them to be competent, successful adults? There are very few occupations that do not require at least a 4-year degree. And yet for the most important job in our society, we have very few practical resources for moms and no mommy schools to tell us how we're supposed to do this. Apparently, we're supposed to just know all the answers. No wonder we often feel overwhelmed. The truth is that we're great moms. But if you're ever feeling overwhelmed, you may just have more on your plate than one person can handle. Let me help you with family night. You can use my personal resources so that you can reap the benefits without trying to figure out one more thing. To encourage you on how much of a change family night can make in your home, I'd like to tell you about our 3rd child. Tyler was extremely quiet and shy, so we were quite surprised when we received a phone call from his teacher on the first day of 3rd grade. Who gets in trouble on the first day of school? By the end of that year, his homeroom teacher resigned, along with the school counselor, the principal, and his bus driver. Yep, that's my boy. This is a loaded story that I actually teach on in other resources. But for now, I will say, as a teacher, I am the first one to give them the benefit of the doubt. Even concerning my own children, I'm the first one to nail my children's behavior. Tyler was not the issue that year, but they certainly turned him into one by their responses. There are ways to flip any behavior issue into a catalyst for success and ways to throw gasoline on a spark. It's not rocket science to alter behavior, but it is a science we all need to master, and master it we did. Tyler is a giant among men because of the way we equipped him to walk through that school year. It was a turning point in his life that could have had a far different outcome. The tools he learned in family night empowered him to believe in himself, even with a full administration telling him otherwise. He has more self-discipline than anyone I've ever known, but more impressive is that he is the most even-keel guy you'll ever want to meet. Nothing riles him and nothing moves him from his calm, peaceful yet determined nature. These are all the same personality traits he walked into 3rd grade with, but he had a teacher who interpreted them as something else. Parents of other children in the class began contacting us to relay their child's concern of how Tyler was being singled out, falsely accused, and punished for things he wasn't doing. By the time we finally figured out what was going on, Tyler was now playing the role that had been created for him. A monster had been created out of a lamb. Interesting how children will do that. Kids like Tyler rise to your expectation, whatever it may be. Our job was to equip him to believe in himself, regardless of what others said. He was by far the hardest to emotionally deal with during family night because of the anger that had bottled up inside. His temper raged out of control and lashed out against his sisters at every opportunity. I'm not going to lie, it was very difficult to get that train turned around, but we did. Tyler is now one of the most compassionate people I know. His love and gentleness for his sisters is moving. Tyler's leadership and steadfastness has earned him the right to help lead our organization. I don't think this would have been the outcome of that fateful year had we not had the safety of a family night to figure it out together. Family night is the perfect way to reestablish order in your home, teach critical life lessons, and reinforce family relationships. I can't encourage you enough to start your own family nights. You can make up your own lessons. Or if you'd like, I've already created a super simple, super fun family night program with all my best tips and tricks I laid out in an easy to follow format. You're so busy handling everything else in life, this is one thing I can help you with. Every week, I'll send you a new family night guide complete with all the games, meal ideas, character lessons, and activities. You can use it as a springboard for your own ideas, or I'll hold your hand and walk you through each lesson with my step-by-step approach. In addition, you'll also be subscribed to Mommy School, where you'll receive additional training, information, and ideas to go along with each lesson. I used to complain that there wasn't a Mommy School to teach me any of this stuff. Well, now there is. I created it just for you. Your job is way too important to go it alone. With Championeers Family Night Adventures, you don't have to. In essence, you learn success strategies first from me. Then I'll show you how to peer pressure proof your children by teaching them the same tools on family night. I gladly give you the information on these videos for free so that all of us can join together to protect our children. If you would like additional resources and help with family night, the Adventure Series is just $19.97 for your resource pack and just another $9.97 a month for your weekly family night downloads and Mommy School subscription. I purposefully kept these prices very affordable. The important thing is not how you peer pressure proof your children, but that you do. So if you don't use the Championeers resources, just remember to incorporate the information from this video series. Use the 7 essentials that help your children answer the 7 critical questions. Utilize my secret IQ-EQ formula and establish a consistent family time when you can connect and build those crucial family bonds. If we'll all do this with our own children, we can protect them from peer pressure. It's like vaccinating them from the 3 leading causes of death among youth. How can we not protect them? There are at least 2 million reasons this year alone for why we must get this information to our girlfriends, family members, church groups, teachers, and co-workers. Message this link, send it in an email, share on Facebook, or contact me to set up a women's conference in your area. And together, we'll stop peer pressure's deadly assault against our children. Together we can do this. I want to leave you with one more final thing. I've included a bonus video for you. This is an overview of the Championeers program for schools and contains more in-depth information for you. While you peer pressure proof your children at home, there's a coordinated music program to peer pressure proof your child's entire school. What if you could send your children to school knowing that peer pressure had been flipped into peer power? Can you imagine how that would change the life of every child on that campus, including your own? Kids absolutely love Championeers, and it works. All it takes is one mom, just like you, to tell your music teacher about it and help her get on board. If you'll be that mom, I'll give you all your family night adventure resources and subscriptions for free as your school's Championeers parent ambassador. Click on the link below to find out more about Championeers Family Night Adventures and watch the bonus video. As we close, I want to thank you for joining me for this training. I look forward to spending more time with you in the future. And remember, your child's greatest defense against peer pressure is you.